Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Travis. What's going on, Travis? You must not be flying today. Do you have the day off, or are your clients just not flying until later? All right, guys, let's take a look at what we have. Like I was saying in the Discord last night, overall, the chart is just bullish. It's looking pretty strong. It's been hitting resistance right around this 23,770 level. It's gotten stopped there several times now. So if the market opens up strong and hits that level, I could see where it could just break through. It could also be a liquidity grab. So I'll watch for shorts if it gets to the 770 level. If it goes down, we have lots of support below. I'm not leaning towards shorts though. We are below VWAP at this time, but we're above the point of control from yesterday. It had a little bit of a bounce down during the London session below the point of control, but it got bought up pretty strong. And it's currently sitting right at the value area low from the overnight session and above Friday's value area high. So, it's creating a foundation higher. So for me, it's kind of just sitting in a middle zone. We'll see how it reacts if it comes back up to these overnight highs around 770. Or if it starts to get below point of control and move lower, then we could be looking for shorts. So for me, I'm really just waiting to see how the market opens. I did take a couple trades. One last night, took a long, and then this morning I took a short. Just a small little scalp, about 26 points, but it got below the overnight point of control and VWAP with a little bit of momentum, so I took a short there and got out at value area high or a little below. Starting to move back up though, but still below VWAP and that overnight point of control. So it'll be interesting to see how the market opens. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm watching, Travis. It's sitting below all those levels, so it could just come up there and then move lower. But it's also kind of consolidating right there. So it'd be interesting to see if this level is actually going to hold and the market's just going to open strong to the upside. We shall see. Fun. Heading to Colorado with the family. Good morning, Shez. So news-wise, we don't have any news But we do have a couple things to watch out for today. Trump has a press conference in about 40 minutes, 30 minutes after the market opens. So with it being a no news Monday and volume possibly being lower, at least it has been in the past. No news Mondays are typically pretty choppy. His comment could definitely move the market pretty crazily. So I think for me, I'm going to size down a little bit, just knowing that that's the case. And then also today is the US-China tariff deadline day. So I would expect some sort of news about that, about like extending it or some sort of deal or whatever. I would assume there's going to be some sort of talks about that. So no official red folder news, but definitely a couple things to be careful about. Did anyone else take any trades overnight? I think if I remember right, Shez, you said that you took a short last night. How did that end up working out for you? I remember you saying you at least had your stop loss at break even. So hopefully that meant there wasn't a loss, but were you able to pull some profit out of it? Travis took a small scalp short last night. Good morning, good morning. Ready to make it a good start to the week. I'm already locked out on my funded accounts, my top one futures. Locked those ones out. Actually, I didn't officially lock it out. I'll do that right now. In my head, I locked it out. In my head, I said it was done. All right, now those are locked out. And then in my trade day accounts, I traded my other ones and am up. Those are locked out. So I have one more I'm going to be trading with you guys. We're already starting to see a little bit of a rejection from VWAP and today's point of control. It looks like a decent spot to take a short from. I just don't like doing it this close to market open. Definitely not wanting to break past that level though. I think the thing that makes me nervous about taking a short immediately right now is the fact that it's holding this level. There's lots of wicks here, so it is showing that it's holding. And that is the value area low from the overnight session. So that combined with the fact that the market's about to open, I could see it just holding here and going higher. Possibly jumping up to grab that liquidity at the overnight high around 770. Yeah, Shez, I saw that. I actually took a similar short to yours. You can see it was a loss up here if I zoom in. On this first rejection of that high, I took a short as it started to like move down and took a loss. And then it came back up, grabbed that liquidity, and then it went down. So we had the right idea, just the wrong timing. If only you were up at 3 o'clock. You know, I wake up and look at the London session often, Travis, and think the same thing. Like, man, maybe I should move over to London. It just looks smooth. I'm sure hindsight's 2020. It always looks like it'd be so much easier to trade when you're looking at it in the past, like hindsight. But yeah, here's the London Open up here, and it was just down the whole time. A lot of times it's like that. Do I ever trade ES? I look at it every once in a while, but no, I don't normally. And that's mostly just because the first thing I started trading was NQ. It's kind of what I got used to, what I learned on. And then I've always heard that you should try to like master one before trading multiple instruments. So I've just stuck with it. Also, I feel like it's a lot too to look at different charts. I feel like I would need like 6 screens. I understand now why people have so many screens. I miss the humidity and hurricane threats in London. Yeah. I'm sure they have their own problems over there. It's getting into hurricane season here. I'm in the Houston, Texas area, so we have like those big video boards on the freeway that have amber alerts or whatever in normal states. In our states, they're like hurricane preparedness. Make sure you're prepared. Stock up your shelves, stock up your cabinets. Starting to get into that season. Okay. BM, not too far away. I'm originally from California. That's where I was born and raised, went to high school, and then came out to go to school at Texas A&M, and then moved to Houston. That's where I live now, south of Houston. But I live in a small town that no one knows what it's called, so I say I'm from Houston. Well, we're definitely consolidating here. I like the idea of a short, but I'm not going to do it. It's rejecting a good level, though. Lots of volume. Definitely a high volume node right there. I just don't like that it keeps getting bought up every time at that value area low. And there she goes. That short maybe would have been decent. All right, this is Asia low coming into yesterday's point of control. I keep saying yesterday, Friday's point of control. As of now, I'm leaning a little more towards longs because it is establishing this base above point of control. But if it breaks below and holds below there, we might be going lower. The last spot that would kind of be holding us up is if it comes down to this London low and it's a quick liquidity grab and then it comes right back up. We shall see. We also do have Trump speaking in 30 minutes, so we got to be careful of that. Let's see what the market gives us. Open it up in just a couple seconds. And that's why I didn't want to take a short. That level is holding. You never know how the market's going to open. All right, so for now, at least on this first 1 minute candle, I'm not going to be crazy and enter anything right now, but not breaking above VWAP so far. My goal is definitely to stay patient this morning. The couple things that I covered this morning being a no news Monday and Trump speaking, and then the China tariff deadline, possible choppy low volume price action combined with some news events that could make things go crazy. I don't want to be rushing into anything. Good morning, B Frosty. How's it going? We have a mole. What does that mean? In the Discord, like an impersonator? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. G-Man was telling me about that. The crappy thing about that is I can't really do anything. Like, I can kick them out of our group, but I can't stop them from messaging people. So that's the crappy thing about Discord, is you kind of just have to know, like, don't message me, or I'm not gonna like friend you and message you about like, send me your Bitcoin and I'll give you trading advice, or I'll trade your money for you. Hopefully people have common sense to know that that would be a scam. You bet the imposter can't do muscle ups. Nope. There you go. If someone tries to like tell you they'll give you 2 Bitcoin if you click this link, then say, send me a video of your muscle up. Then you'll know if it's the real one. Good times. All right, we're coming lower, getting below that point of control. That was a level that we were watching right at VWAP and last night's point of control. Could have been a spot for a short. I didn't want to rush into any positions though. So it wasn't something I wanted to take. But that was a good level to take a short off of. Next thing I'm watching for at this point is if it does come down to this London low at 668 and has a nice strong buy up off of it, we could possibly take a long from there. For now, start marking off our ranges. There's our 15-minute high so far. What are you guys watching in the chat? Anyone taking any quick scalps so far? Or are you just staying patient right now? Good morning, D. Oh, long gold. Gold dropped quite a bit last night. So is it catching a bounce? Yeah, finding support at that nice little gray shaded area, which is a pretty high volume node. Good morning, Kadir. Chichamus, it seems like you're pretty good at staying patient and waiting for your time frames. That's good. I know you've said that in the past, like having those 15, 30, and 60-minute benchmarks, I guess. It forces you to wait and be a little bit more patient. Like if you see something right now where you're like, oh, maybe that's a good trade. Nope, I'll wait 8 more minutes. I can wait. I can be patient. Yeah. The biggest thing that I think helped me to not enter trades within the first 2 or 3 minutes of the open was journaling and starting to take note of like what time I won or lost a trade. And my win rate, or I guess I should call it my loss rate, during the first few minutes of the open was horrible. So I'm like, man, if I just wait like 10 more minutes, 15 more minutes, then I'll make a lot more money. So I think data helped me a lot, like having specific information that I could see, data on paper, that helped me a lot. So far, this is our 15-minute low. Getting bought right back up. We can see how it reacts at this VWAP level, which is right near the current range high and last night's point of control. Still moving higher. I've never thought about it like having uh, someone in your ear telling you the weather's not clear yet. Wait 15 minutes. That's funny. This is an interesting spot here coming up into that point of control and opening range high. Could possibly see a rejection there. It's not a bad risk to reward if we target range low. Just kind of playing with ideas there. Definitely seems like a somewhat slow open. It's holding above that New York anchored VWAP. Coming higher. I wonder what's going to come during the press conference. It's an interesting topic. Financial Juice says that Trump is talking on crime and homelessness. So, I mean, anytime Trump talks, it's going to be, it's going to affect the markets. But with that topic, I wonder how much it's going to actually impact NQ. All right. Well, these are funky, choppy little ranges that aren't really hitting any of my levels right now. It came down, it never really grabbed, didn't come close to that London low to grab that liquidity. Now it's breaking up above the previous 15-minute range high, breaking above VWAP. Not any big levels, important levels that I would want to take trades off of. Kind of chopping around that overnight point of control for now. Rejecting a little bit. But now back above VWAP. So Not feeling like I want to short from here. Let's see if it makes it back up to these overnight highs. Possible liquidity grab and rejection from there. We'll see. The 15-minute range is officially set at this point. So we'll see if we can take any trades off of that. What'd you guys do this weekend? Anyone do something fun? I went out of town with my family, went to the river, which is about 4 hours from us, New Braunfels area. We have a couple families that all of our kids are the same age, and we went with them, so it was a lot of fun. Shane played tennis. Cool. Tennis is one sport that I've never really gotten into. I never played tennis. I grew up playing a lot of sports, never did that. Kind of chopping around overnight point of control, chopping around VWAP. Not really making any decisions right now. I don't know, Shane. I feel like if I'm gonna try some sort of sport in that genre, I would try pickleball. Like, pickleball is the new tennis, right? That's what the cool kids do these days. Oh, that sounds fun. Potluck with some families and then date night on Saturday. There you go. This looks super indecisive, you guys. It's almost like they're waiting to see what Trump is going to say. I'm definitely in a spot where I can make arguments for longs and shorts. It's stuck below this point of control from overnight, but it's also looking like it wants to hold above VWAP and it wants to go higher. That's my gut, is it wants to go higher. But I don't have any good reason behind longing, so I'll wait. We do have a decent spot to put our stop loss though, since it kind of had that little pullback. and we could target the overnight highs. So risk to reward isn't bad. That's like a 2-to-1. You were in an ES long, but it's not cooperating. Yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling about this right now. There's not really any continuation either way. So even if I got in a long or a short, like I would probably have to just sit there and be anxious, not knowing which way it's going to actually go. It is kind of rejecting that opening range high though. And the fact that it came down partially towards London low and never actually fully grabbed it, it could continue down there and grab that liquidity. Super choppy. Be frosty, you can hear that? And the fact that you recognized it makes me wonder, do you have young girls at home? Oh my gosh, we have watched that movie no less, no, like, not even kidding, 15 times, 20 times. Yeah, and if we're not watching the actual movie, then we're listening to it on Spotify. Absolutely. It's catchy. I don't mind it. Like, there's some things that they listen to over and over and over, and I'm like, all right, that's enough. Like, I'm calling it. But the K-pop Demon Hunters isn't terrible. I don't mind it that much. Yep, the Soda Pop, that's one of them. There's a whole soundtrack, Teacher Miss. All right, I'm taking a short. Super small position, not risking much. Putting my stop loss back at the range high. And I am going to target London low here at 668. Shez is short. There we go. 721 was my entry. Definitely could have gotten a little bit of a better entry. I think just the choppiness, I was unsure if it was going to hold or if it was going to go lower. There just really hasn't been much continuation either way on this. But we did reject 15-minute high, point of control, now getting below VWAP. There's lots of resistance overhead. We just gotta actually continue. All right, teacher miss, have a good one. Let's start putting our volume profile on for the session, see what we get. It's still early. Coming up higher. I did come down to this New York VWAP and kind of bounced from there. Really, it's choppy. The markets are not sure what Trump's gonna say, so they're waiting. All right, looks like it's coming up to stop me out. Choppy, choppy. All right. I'm gonna let it get out of this range and grab some liquidity. See if it comes back up to this London high, Asia high level, and we get a strong rejection. From there, we can take a short. Or if it actually comes down to this London low, and we can possibly take a long from there. But for now, this is just being choppy, not continuing in either direction. Yeah, Shez, that's hard. You did get a good entry. It's hard to figure out if you should go to break even or take profits or what. So I think you said you were in around 7:30, so way up here. I probably would have moved to break even simply because we were coming down to this New York anchored VWAP, and that's definitely a spot where it could have bounced, which it did. The reason I didn't is because that would have only been like 8 points into profit, and that didn't make sense to put it at break even. But for you, you were almost 20 points into profit. So yeah, I probably would have put it at break even when it came down to that VWAP, since that was a spot where it could have bounced. The way I trade, I typically let the trade play out, and I won't go to break even unless it's a choppy day or if it's coming into a specific spot where I feel like it could bounce, like an area of liquidity or VWAP or something like that. Other than that, I don't necessarily go to break even. I'll take profits and then trail my stop loss. But that's me. I'm not a scalper. I'm more of most of my positions are 12 to 15 minutes long. I like to let the trade play out. That's what works for me. So if I move to break even, it's because I'm not super confident in the trade, which for me at least, I'm just talking for myself, today is one of those days. Shez, do you journal your trades? Like, do you take screenshots and then take notes on like what happened? Like, I moved my stop loss to break even and then got stopped out and it went the other direction or whatever. Like, do you make notes like that so you can go back and study? If you do that, like if you add that much detail, you should be able to go back. Like, over the last 100 trades, if I had just left my stop loss where it was, then my win rate would have increased or whatever. You can go look at that kind of stuff. And then if you have data that gives you the confidence that you should just let your trade play out, you might feel better about not moving your stop loss. Or vice versa, if you go back and you say, oh, well, actually, all of those trades saved me and I would have lost more, then maybe you should move your stop loss. So go back through your journals and see if you can kind of tally up some of those trades. Well, if your data says that you should keep your stop loss where it's at and not move it to break even, then you can say today was a good loss. That's how I would look at it. You're going to still take losses. All right. The calendar shows that Trump is supposed to be talking right now, but I don't see it yet. I don't know if he's actually started or not. I'm not going to play it. But that could be part of the reason that this is kind of choppy. Whoa, check that out. I looked away for 1 second. That was a crazy wick. That is exactly what I was talking about this morning, you guys. No news Monday, so volume, liquidity, price at leg is going to be slower than normal. Plus, you have Trump talking and a China tariff deadline today. So those are the kind of wicks that we're going to be getting today, you guys. So trade safe, please. Hey, Sasmit, how's it going? Yep, I was kind of watching for that too. Hopefully some sort of liquidity grab happens. It's kind of just chopping around right now. But if it comes down to London low and we get a strong buy up from there, that could be a good long. Or, yeah, that 770 level has been pretty heavy resistance. So if it comes back up there, we could get a strong rejection. But it hasn't really hit either of those levels. Kind of just chopping around in the middle, honestly. Only happened on MNQ, huh? I guess I need to become more of a big baller, big spender, and start trading NQ. So you don't have to deal with those crazy wicks. Not there yet, you guys. Not there yet. All right. Well, it's holding above both VWAPs, holding above point of control. Shez, at this point, I don't really. I would want to have a huge buffer in my accounts. Like, if I'm taking payouts consistently and I have like $10,000 of a buffer in my prop firm accounts, then I probably feel a lot more comfortable trading bigger size. But no, not right now. Also, I like scaling in and out of trades, like taking partial profits and then leaving a runner. So if you do that with NQ, I'm not likely going to trade two contracts. So it would be more of like a full in, full out type of thing. And that's not currently how I trade. I'm taking a long here. The reasoning is the risk to reward is good. It's holding above VWAP and point of control. Stop loss would not have to be that low. And then targeting this 770 level. Yeah, Sasman, I feel like that's something I want to look up and figure out why sometimes MNQ has such big wicks and NQ doesn't. Because this is obviously just me being naive, but I always thought they were the same. So when like one has a big gap and the other one has a wick and this one doesn't, like I don't know why they're not identical. So I'm gonna do some research on that today and figure it out. Ooh, long since 729. Good entry. And yeah, you have your stop loss down here below this low. It almost got you. All right, so it is breaking back out above the 15-minute range high. Getting a little bit of momentum behind it. Let's see if we can get up to Asia high at 773. Are you targeting Asia high also, Sasmit? Let's see if it gets there. We are breaking that high. Let's go. What's up, No Diggity? Are you trading any crypto this morning? Or this afternoon for you? Coming back down. All right, let's see what our volume profile is looking like. It came back down to value area high. It's bouncing a little bit off of there. Let's see if we get some continuation back up. Yeah, No Diggity, Mondays have been tough lately. For me, I feel like it's just been over the summer. It's like the last 2 months of Mondays have been tough. And I think the correlation I can see is that it's been no news on Mondays, so the volume is low, so it's just choppy, and then Trump makes some sort of announcement, and it's just been weird on Mondays. So I feel you on that. I've taken some of my best trades on Sunday nights, though, which makes Monday a whole lot easier to handle because I don't feel rushed to like find a trade or force a trade because I'm already done in some of my accounts from Sunday night. Did that? Yep, that stopped me out. Alrighty. Could have put my stop loss a little too high though, because it looks like it might be coming down to this opening range high and bouncing off of it. Fridays have been more difficult for you? I feel like for me, Fridays are tough mentally. Like when I look back at my journals, I see that I'm kind of just tired. Yeah, B Frosty, you're on board with that. I'm kind of just tired from looking at the charts all day or all week. Plus, mentally, I'm like, ooh, I'm green, or I had a couple good days, and now I don't want to mess it up on Friday. Like those kind of things start to mess with me. AMD confirms that it has received China AI chip export licenses. That's probably what's going on right now. This is annoying, you guys. You don't know what came over you, Sasbit? Well, you don't even have to sell your house. You have a shed and a car that you've acquired recently. You can sell those. Well, that was slightly annoying. All those wicks got me. This is an example of one of those trades that I should have just let it play out, and it probably is going to go to my profit target. You have to pay money to maintain them. All right, so at this point, I'm just gonna see how it reacts at these overnight high levels. See if we get a rejection from there. And then we also have the initial balance being set in about 11 minutes. Sasman, are you still in your long? Or I know you said you were moving to break even. Did you get stopped out? Price action is tough this morning. It's just not super clean, no continuation. Like it's rejecting at London high, so I guess it could continue, could get a little bit of a continuation. But it's just like, it's so close to a level that actually makes sense to reject at, but it's not going there. Similar on the downside, it bounced right above London low. It never actually came all the way down there. It's not cleanly hitting levels, at least from what I have marked and what I see. There you go, Alexis. You can be happy with that. Yeah, go hit that like button, you guys, if you haven't already. Also, I put our Discord link in the chat if you guys want to join us there. Maybe we can set up some sort of poker group or match in the Discord. Because there's ways to live stream and like share your screen in there. No, I haven't been live streaming in Discord. That's something that I've thought about adding, like maybe doing some sort of pre-market like charting or something like that. Or maybe even a power hour stream. I have to figure that out. Pre-market is going to be tough here in a couple weeks because I have my kids' school starting. So pre-market is right when I'm like rushing them out the door to school. Yeah, YouTube does have a lag. It's like 8 seconds or something like that. Yep, that's true, Scott. Sounds like we have a couple people on board for poker. Top Step TV does power hour gambling? Like poker gambling? Or like try to pass your eval in one day kind of gambling? Oh, trading gambling. That's interesting. It's hard to do that with a Top Step account because you have to pass in at least 2 days. There's some that are a 1 day pass. So you can gamble with those, I guess. Yeah, no diggity. I've heard of a couple people saying that they're getting fake friend requests. Unfortunately, I can't do anything to block those accounts from talking to you guys. I can just block them from joining the Discord, but that's it. Just know that I won't be messaging you, asking you to wire me your Bitcoin. It's probably spam or a scam. We have initial balance being set here in about 4 minutes. Let's see if it actually continues higher and maybe fully grabs this liquidity and we get a strong rejection from there. Just staying patient for some of these levels to hit. Sasmit, you're never gonna let me live that down. I didn't mean for it to come out that way. Scott, no, I don't know much about ICT, honestly. I watched when I was like first researching strategies, I think I watched a couple videos on it, but it all seemed way too complicated and kind of up to your discretion, I guess. So I found some things that were a little more clear, like here's the level. If it hits that level, take a short or whatever. That was kind of my like basic way of getting into trading, finding something more simple. Now that I've gotten a better understanding of just price action concepts in general, I have noticed that I pay attention to some of the ICT stuff, like fair value gaps maybe. But no, I don't really follow ICT. I mostly trade volume profile, so session volume profile, and then larger time frames with the visible range volume profile to find support and resistance. And then I watch for the initial balance levels, 15-minute opening range, high and low levels. That's mostly what I trade. And then just watch for support and resistance or liquidity grabs, whatever you want to call it. What about you, Scott? Are you working on with ICT stuff, or what do you do for your strategy? This indicator with that white line is VWAP. It's the session VWAP, but I have the bands on there. So that's the difference. I have the band multiplier, the standard deviation. I've noticed that I recently added it within the last couple of weeks. I added that to the VWAP indicator. I've found that when it's kind of a choppy, rangy day, it stays within those lines pretty well. And then a lot of times if there's confluence for like, if the value area high is right at the band for VWAP, there's some confluence for taking a short, for example. So it's kind of just an extra confluence. Okay, so Scott, you use session volume profile. I think that's my favorite. Volume profile helps me a lot. And then when I have the confluence of volume profile at like initial balance or 15-minute opening range high or something like that, that helps a lot. So kind of just stacking things for the added confluence. There you go, Mike. Way to get it back. Done for the day. So the initial balance is set at this point. We have 60-minute high right here. So this is kind of setting up for a possible failed auction scenario, these are my favorite setups: liquidity sweep plus failed auction. So if it comes up and grabs this overnight high liquidity and we get a strong rejection and it closes back within the initial balance high, that could be a good setup. We just gotta be patient and wait for it, because right now it's pretty choppy. I don't even know if we'll get up there right now, honestly. Scott, I've never heard of that book. But I do like session volume profile, so maybe I'll check it out. I don't really do anchored volume profile very much, other than like starting at the Asia Open or the overnight session open and carrying it through overnight, but I don't do like from a news event or something like that. I've seen people do that, where you can anchor it from a low or a high or a news event or something like that. I don't do that. Yep, that's what I do too. I have that on my chart. So this one is anchored from the session open, and I stopped it right at New York Open, and then this one is from the New York session. Well, looks like it doesn't want to come back up to that initial balance high and grab that liquidity. For now, it's just going down from here. Hi, Mama. Good morning. How's it going? How long is Trump talking? Or is he done? I haven't seen any like red notifications come through on Financial Juice from Trump and what he's saying. So I guess there's nothing like groundbreaking that he's talking about. The only red highlighted news I've seen is that AMD, the thing that I read earlier about how they've received a chip export license. I keep hoping that it'll come back up and retest that initial balance high. And we can take a short from there. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, Sasmit. I don't like price action today in general. It's not really hitting either level. We're just going to be chopping around. Shez, you got in at 755. We are sitting below the value area high for this current session. Chopping around point of control. I don't know. I don't like shorts right now. Because we are holding at point of control, we're above VWAP. If I'm going to take a short, this is what I'm waiting for. A rejection from that overnight high first. Two? How many Fridays are enough to see if it's a good trading day for you or not? Well, I mean, if you're looking for like actual data, I mean, 2 is kind of just a slight pattern. I don't know, I'd say look over the last couple months and see. But it's also so seasonal. If you just look over the last 2 months, it could be bad. But if you look back in like January or February, it could be good on Fridays. And then this Friday, we have news. Don't we have like JOLTS job openings or something on Friday? No, we have retail sales on this Friday and Michigan sentiment. So this Friday could be decent. I think it kind of just depends. I would say play it by ear. Like, if you're having a really good week, Monday through Thursday, and you're green, take a 3-day weekend. Or if you're just kind of feeling tired and like you've been beat up this week and you're tired of looking at charts and you need some time away, take it off. But if you're feeling confident, you're feeling good, there's some good volatility in the market, trade. That's how I look at Fridays. I kind of just see how the week has gone and decide if I want to trade. Everybody keeps saying that ES looks good, looks better. What do we got over here? Wow, such a different story. ES is below VWAP, definitely looking weaker. guess here is the initial balance low. We're already coming down to it. Totally different story. Well, we do have that news that just came out about the AMD chips, which I don't know exactly how much weight AMD carries in NASDAQ, or honestly, if it's in there, I should probably know. But just having it be part of the tech sector, that could be why NQ is stronger than ES. Sasmit, where's your stop loss? $7.30. You still have some room. I drew these little swiggly lines for you, Sasmit. Let's bring it on up there. All right, coming back up. Here we go. Let's see if we get it this time. Yeah, I knew it wasn't one of the Mag 7 companies, so it doesn't have a lot of weight on NQ. But I do know that, like, when one thing in the tech sector is doing well, they all kind of move up a little bit. Like, they move together within reason. So it could be making other things move too. Just an idea of why NQ's up and ES looks weak. What's gold doing? Honestly, everything's just chopping around right now. Not really any clean trends on anything that I have. YM? Oh, we should have been trading YM, you guys. Why didn't you tell me? That looks clean. I've never taken a trade on YM. I wouldn't even know what to do. That looks good though. Does anyone here trade YM? Nice and clean. Where was the 8:30 open? Right here? It's just been down since then. What about oil? I don't even know why I have these things on my list. I don't trade oil or YM. I think when I was first getting into futures, I kind of just added everything that I heard of on there. was moving up. My squiggly lines are not working. Sorry, Sasmit. Coming back down. Yeah, now your short's looking real good, Shez. Sasmit, do you ever trade YM? Coming down to VWAP. Are we gonna bounce here? Nope. It does not want to bounce there. It's going lower. Holy cow, you guys. What did I miss? Trump is talking still. Trump is deploying the National Guard in Washington, D.C. He's invoking Section 40 of the D.C. Home Rule Act. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. Did ES hit the initial balance low? Oh, it did, and it kept going. Dang. Well, it came down to value area low for this session and bounced. Currently getting back above VWAP. That was a strong bounce off of VWAP, you guys. Well, that took out your stop loss, didn't it, Sasmit? That's pretty annoying if it continues to your target now. Let's see if this bounce holds and we do end up coming to these overnight highs. This is ugly, you guys. It bounced off VWAP, came up to point of control. It's not breaking above that yet. I want to see it come up to these highs and reject. Bring it on back up. Let's go. That's what I'm waiting for at this point, you guys. I don't want to take a trade in this middle chop. Waiting for it to come back up to initial balance high, overnight high area. Or if it does end up rejecting from here and comes back down to initial balance low or London low, that could be a possible failed auction setup too. So that's the interesting thing about both of these spots, initial balance high and initial balance low. There's liquidity above and below both of those. So those are nice setups for possible failed auctions coming up. We just have to be patient and wait for those levels to hit. Volume has been low this morning though. That first candle was decent. After that, it's been pretty dull. Everything is tomato? What does that mean? I don't know. Not everything's red. There's some green candles in there. It's actually been pretty green when you zoom out for most of the day, most of the morning. Just lots of wicks on both sides. Not a whole lot of continuation and follow through either way. Yeah, depends on what time frame you're looking at. like it wants to hold though. I don't want to take this trade just because it's too choppy in the middle. But it bounced pretty strongly off that value area low. It's holding above VWAP. It'd be interesting if it does actually come up, back up to this initial balance high, grab that liquidity, and then end up rejecting. It's kind of what I'm waiting for. Now that you have more free time, should you give London a shot or just continue the process of mastering one session? So if you have the bandwidth for it, I feel like you have good discipline, at least from what I've seen. Like, you limit yourself to 3 trades. You're good at closing out your account when you've taken your losses and you're done for the day. You, at least from what I've seen, you don't go on tilt and do anything crazy like that. Since you have the discipline, I think it's fair to add on another session. Maybe spend a couple weeks backtesting it, or a week or so, or maybe trade it with a paper account for a week just to kind of get the feel of it, to see if there's anything different with the way your strategy works in the London session. That's probably what I would do if you don't feel like you have a ton of confidence with it yet. Practice your strategy, paper trade for a little bit, or buy like a cheap eval or something where it's not gonna like hurt if you blow your funded account trying a new session. And then if you feel like it works with your strategy and you're doing well, then yeah, go for it. I don't see why not. Especially if it's not going to mess up your sleep schedule too. Which I think for you, that would be fine with where you're at in India. For me, I'd be run on fumes if I woke up that early to trade. Still chopping around VWAP and point of control. It's not making a decision where it wants to go. It's gonna try to blow everyone's accounts before it actually hits those levels. I wonder if we're going to get any sort of talk about the China-US tariff deadline. From what I've seen, there's no like scheduled meeting or anything between Trump and the Chinese president. But if today's the deadline, they got to come up with something, right? like we got our no news Monday choppiness, you guys. Not a whole lot we can do with this right now. That's how we're going to decide the China-US tariff deadline. We're going to have a poker tournament. Let's go. That's funny. Playing poker right now would be a whole lot more fun than watching this. If you guys haven't already, go hit that like button. I'd appreciate it. Here's what I'm going to do, you guys. I'm going to set some alerts since I don't want to be taking trades in this choppy, gross price action right now. So I'm going to set an alert right at the initial balance high. And what I'm going to do is if it hits the initial balance high, I'm not going to take an immediate short. I'm hoping that it'll actually grab the Asia liquidity, maybe come up a little bit higher and then reject. If it does that and closes back within the initial balance high, that could be a failed auction. So setting an alert there. I'm also going to set an alert at the initial balance low. And similar idea here, it could potentially hold at initial balance low and we can just take a long off of that. Or if it shows some continuation down to that London low, which is all this liquidity here, if it grabs that and has a strong bounce and closes back within the initial balance low, that could be a failed action setup. So those are the two scenarios that I'm waiting for. And it looks like it's not going to happen anytime soon. So I'll call it there and then just be able to step away from my computer. That way those alerts will let me know if I can take a trade. If you guys keep trading, trade safe. All right. Have a good one, you guys. Take care.